Welcome to our October Economic Update. I'm John Cleaver, partner and senior financial advisor with Beyond Wealth Advisors, and joining me today is
Dennis Bacon, the Chief Investment Officer of Beyond Wealth Advisors.
Fantastic. So here we are in October. It's just a nice, balmy 90 degrees out, just another normal walk in the park kind of day. And so we're back for another update on what's going on in the economy. Yeah. So I think there's an election in just under a month.
Yeah.
So where do we see things going here in the next few months and maybe into the end of the year?
Okay. Well, it's kind of a challenging thing to look at. The markets, I think, as we go forward, are going to react over a period of time. It's going to take a while for everything to unfold. Initially, we talked about in the last update that we would expect that in a Biden Democratic win, that more than likely we'll see some downturn in the market. I think that's probably still true. I think also, though, the countervailing force on that are two things. First off, the taxes that will go up will probably operate a lot like they did when Obama did when he came in and the economy wasn't real good. At that point in time, it was the following year when taxes actually went up. That would mean we wouldn't see any tax rises until probably 2022. That'll give some time for the economy to get some footing. Right. It'll also the other force that will be impacted is that the stimulus package that a Biden administration will be probably much more robust than a Trump one would be. And both administrations, whether it be Trump or Biden, would probably be doing a lot of infrastructure work also, which seems to be the one area that both parties can agree on. So what we look at is a 2021 very probably under both administrations would look pretty good. The difference is in the Trump administration, we would continue to see pressure to reduce taxes and reduce regulation, where larger government would probably be in vogue for a Biden administration. So that's kind of what we see going forward. Either way, I think there's going to be some volatility between now and whenever we figure out that the election actually is final, whether that be on November the 4th or January 4th or the January 20th or whatever date we come up with.
Sure. Well, that's good, and obviously there is a lot to be determined yet between now and November 3rd. Right. So, through the course of the last few weeks, we've had a lot of individuals, some clients, some not clients, ask the question, well, what should I do? Should I pull all my money out? If I do, when should I get back in? It seems like a rational question to ask when there might be something of uncertainty coming down the road. That does go a little counter, though, to how we tend to look at working with clients and really positioning clients for what would be their objective. So when you hear that question, what do you say?
Well, I think what it brings to mind to me is I look back over the last 6 or 8 months with all the volatility we had. We had volatility before COVID hit. We were actually in a very strong uptrend. When we go back and look at that, I find that the folks who had really already developed a good plan and they knew where they were going economically, they had established how much risk they could really handle and how much they needed to take to achieve their goals. That combined with a good level of education that we try to do over a period of time, and I think everyone should try to do, learn a little bit about what actually is going on. Those people I found had a much lower level of anxiety, and I think they've come through this a lot better financially too, because they didn't have a lot of knee-jerk reactions. Now, one of the things that really helps you with is it's very important to us that our clients sleep at night. I've always used this for years. I've talked about the sleep factor. If you're losing sleep at night, we need to know about it, because I think it's important that, because this is our clients' money. This isn't our money. And I think it's very important that we understand where they are. Well, if you have a plan in place and you choose to modify the plan, take some risk off the table during times where it's high volatility, you already have a plan on where you need to be. So where you're going to go after that is already baked into the pie. And I think that's one of the key things. If you have not developed a financial plan and haven't worked with one, I think it's very important to do that. I've always talked about the 5 Ps. Prior planning prevents poor performance, and it's hard to say sometimes.
Right.
But if you have planned, it makes it much easier to re-implement the plan, get back on track where you were before. And that's what I would encourage people right now, is really evaluate where their plan is. If they don't have a plan, they really need to get a plan in place that addresses both how much they need to make to achieve their goals, and sometimes it's not as much as what you think. It's not always about gaining the most. Sometimes it's about losing less. And if you have a good plan in place, you should be able to find that balance. I think that's really important right now.
Right, that's such a great point. And one of the things that as clients, and if you're listening today, that we want to just encourage you to think about is, where are you at in that planning process? And it really just starts with a conversation. And the first step is, you can reach out, you can email us, you can call us, and really it's just having a conversation and kind of taking the pulse of where you're at today in that process. And then from there, we can kind of develop it. All right, so maybe just, one other kind of more technical thing, maybe just as we, think about the markets. I think it was last month we talked a little bit about the difference between growth and value. And I know this is something that we've had lots of conversations about. In fact, our last round of allocations, we actually addressed this particular topic. So what are you seeing as we get a little closer to year end, a little closer to election, as it relates to kind of the big debate of growth versus value?
Okay. Well, I think one thing, there are certain companies out there that if we maintain the current environment, I think we've had some shift environmentally that are going to allow some companies to excel. That would be, Amazon comes to mind, but there are a lot of companies out there that we would expect to see grow continually with a kind of a paradigm shift, if you will.
Right.
But there's a lot of companies out there that have not enjoyed a recovery yet. And whether it's under the current administration or a new Biden administration, we're going to see a lot of those companies come back as the broader economy comes back. One thing we have seen in the last couple of months, we've actually seen, I looked at some portfolios and saw that the emerging markets and small cap and mid cap growth areas have really outperformed the large cap growth in the last couple of months. That's anecdotal, but I think that's important to know that there are a lot of areas of the economy that are doing better. Where if we looked at it early in the year, large cap growth was where all the growth was.
Right.
And so I think there's a lot of other areas of the market. I'm reading some things that really think that really the international market is probably going to do better over the next 6 to 8 months. I haven't done enough research to know particularly whether I have bought into that yet, but there are a lot of people out there who believe that. So we're seeing some rotation right now out of the U.S. domestic large cap growth space. And as that continues to grow and the economy broadens, I think we'll see more rotation out of that.
Fantastic. Well, as always, we want to thank you for tuning in, and be sure to check out the other videos on our YouTube channel. Also be sure to go to the website, beyondwealthadvisors.com. And as I mentioned earlier, if you do have any questions or you'd like to engage in more of a planning conversation, please reach out to us. And I guess next month, hopefully, by the end of the first week of November, maybe we'll have some information to pass on.
Maybe.
We shall see.
We shall see. But in the meantime, I want all of y'all to sleep tight at night.
That's right.
We have to have good sleep. We can't do a lot about what's going on in the major political scenes anyway.
That's right. Thank you.